This is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. The chances of you winning the National Lottery are 48 million to 1. In the year 2009, the odds were 14 million to 1. This has not stopped millions of people taking part in the lottery every single week in the hope of trying to change their life forever. In a small area called Kings Langley in Hertfordshire, two men conspired to actually defraud the National Lottery that is owned by a company called Camelot. And this week, 12 years after it actually happened, they have said how much money the man that did this will actually have to pay back. Edward Putman, 56, was jailed for 9 years in October 2019 after the police had found out he defrauded Camelot for £2.5 million. He did this back in 2009 and they didn't even find out until 2015. And then the trial didn't complete until 2019. And the proceeds of crime has only just completed now in 2022. And they say that he needs to pay back £900,000 because that was all they could find from the money that he'd stolen. So they believe that he potentially hid over £1.5 million. Edward Putman is a convicted rapist. In 1991, he was jailed for 7 years for raping a pregnant 17-year-old. And he was also done for benefit fraud after he won the £2.5 million because he kept on claiming housing benefit. He was a former bricklayer and he bought his house and land near the M25 in Kings Langley, where he planned to build a hotel. The investigation was launched by the Financial Investigation Team to find out the proceeds of crime and how much money they could get back from him in the 10 years since it actually happened. The jury heard that in 2009, Putman conspired with a man that worked inside the lottery called Giles Knibbs. He was from Bricket Wood and he worked in the security department at Camelot. And the scam started when Knibbs saw documents containing details of big wins that had not yet been claimed when he was working late one night. The prosecution, James Kinley, said there was an element of trial and error. They produced 100 tickets with different codes and they knew the numbers, but the special code that each shop has is in the bottom right hand corner. And he had to go to 29 different shops in order to be able to find out which one it was and actually get the right ticket. So they fraudulently made the winning ticket and then just replicated and guessed from one of 100 different codes which shop they bought it from. The jury of 5 men and 6 women heard that it was just 10 days before the 6-month deadline to come forward with the ticket on August the 28th, 2009. The ticket had been brought at a co-op on St John's Road, Worcester, on March the 3rd. The winning numbers were 6, 19, 20, 21 and 34. And Putman made the call to Camelot to claim the prize and said he found the ticket in the seat of his van. It was missing the bottom part that contained the unique number, but Camelot had been conned and they verified the ticket as genuine. The actual winning ticket was never claimed. He received all of the money, but he was then jailed for the benefit fraud several years later. In 2012. The fraud in relation to the robbery began to unravel in 2015 when his accomplice, Mr. Knibbs, 38, committed suicide in Buckinghamshire. He confessed to his friends that he and Putman had conned the lottery and the two men had rowed about the winnings following the fraud, and in June 2015, Putman had gone to the police and said that Knibbs had been threatening him and saying that he would reveal his previous convictions for rape. He also reported that Knibbs had stolen his phone and damaged his car, and after this, Knibbs was arrested and this caused him a lot of depression, and according to his friends, he told them what he had done and he was being charged with burglary, blackmail, criminal damage. And he thought that his life was over. He also told friends that he thought he'd get 15 years for the fraud if he was found out. So he felt like he had no other choice but to take his own life. Putman was later arrested and charged with defrauding the lottery, and he appeared in court for dishonestly representing a false claim, namely producing a lottery ticket that was not intended for him, and it was in the amount of £2,525,485. The judge in the case said that it was a sophisticated, carefully planned and diligently operated fraud, and it struck at the heart of the National Lottery. He said you would have got away with it as well if it wasn't for your friend confessing to it before he killed himself. Following the subsequent proceeds of crime at St Albans Crown Court on Wednesday the 26th of January 2022, Putman was ordered to repay £939,000. This was the value of the assets that they had available, and they did not know where the rest of the money was. And if he didn't pay the rest of the money, he would have to serve another 6 years in prison. In 2017, before the ticket was found, Camelot was actually fined £3 million by the UK Gambling Commission for paying out what they believed they could not prove was real. So even after they revealed that the ticket was actually not real, they still wasn't sure. Camelot would never have known if his friend hadn't have said what had happened. And of course, this man was convicted of rape back in 2009, and he's done some horrendous things. The woman that he actually raped received £50,000 out of the proceeds, and she actually gave it to charity. She said she didn't want the money, but she was entitled to it. So I thought this was a bizarre story, and it also goes to show that you'd think that the lottery was really hard to be able to defraud, and nowadays it's played online a lot, so I suppose it probably is a lot harder to do now. But back then, it probably wasn't as difficult as people thought. So I really want to hear what people have to say on this story. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Follow me online as well at Scarcity Studios, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.